Hey, it's with Eldora's Chess, and today I want to talk about chess rating, chess titles, and how we may be too obsessed with chess titles and chess rating. But first, just to have a nice background picture, instead of not only the stones, but this one is this one is an immoral draw. But I'm not going to give the solution because I'm thinking about making a series on immoral draws. No, on games that, in my opinion, are immoral. Probably Dingliren or the one game from Levon Aronian versus Magnus, or the King Walk. I have so many games in my mind. Oh, King Walk from the Dutch, the King Walk checkmate, but that's Nigel Short. Okay, but that's another topic. But let me get to this topic. So. I think because chess is very objective, very math based, like ELO points, that we can get lost in rating. But in my opinion, rating doesn't reflect your strength. I repeat, rating doesn't reflect your strength. I repeat, in my opinion, rating doesn't reflect strength. Okay, first of all, what's the point of rating if it doesn't reflect strength? I do agree it reflects strength if you have multiple games and multiple ratings in a year. But I think it can fluctuate very much, especially with beginners and intermediate people. For instance, let's say you have a rating of 1000. Okay, you have a rating of 1000 and you learn. In 1 month, you learn rook endgames, queen endgames, pawn endgames, knight endgames. So 1 month you did a whole month of 5 hours a day, like crazy endgames. Then you play a game and you lose in the opening. You lose rating. Did your chess decline or improve in that month? Of course, it improved a lot. But in chess, it's like. Sometimes you learn something and you never use it, or you always use it, or it comes in 5 years, or maybe it never comes. Maybe you learn certain positions that you'll never have, never in your entire life. Or maybe you study endgames you probably never have. But you can always count that you will have rook endgames, queen endgames, pawn endgames. But what I'm saying is that people, if I watch other people, they're obsessed with their titles, with titles. Oh, I'm a GM, I'm an international master, I'm a FIDE master. But it has some disadvantages. For instance, I know a lot of chess players, FIDE masters, when they go against Canet master or lower rated, and they come in a drawn position and they're not objective anymore. All they see is, oh, I have good rating, he has bad rating. So in a completely drawn position, they try to force a win and then they lose. Because they cannot fathom that a guy also played very well. And certain positions are just very drawish. And sometimes it's not because you're like lower rated that the other guy is like insane monster. Like rating is just it's just your rating. It doesn't mean you will always win. For instance, if I play against Magnus Carlsen, I will lose every game. Okay, our rating is like, he has like double of my rating, of course. But if he plays against someone 200, 300 lower rated, they can draw easily. Like he has draws against 2400. It doesn't matter that the rating is 300 more. Like also with titles, like, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. My personal goal is, and I think it's very good, just go for your maximal potential. Just go for your maximum potential. Even if you reach maximum potential, like for instance, you reach 2300, and years on years you try to improve and it doesn't improve because we have from statistics we know that above a certain rating, people stall and they plateau and then they drop. Like even the greatest chess player, Magnus Carlsen, he will never. He rises and then it will be stable. Like all the elite chess players, they rise to a certain level and they don't change that much really. They only decline after a certain point. Like you don't see go up, go down, and then go up because Magnus Carlsen, Fabiano Caruana, Ding Liren, they're gonna be 2-7 plus for a long time, but they're not gonna be 2-9 plus, 2-900 plus. I think maybe Magnus, maybe, or if Fabio wins another Sinquefield Cup like in 2014 with like almost perfect play. But that's my point. Like rating, I think it's more relevant when you're higher rated because they play a lot of games and it's more consistent. But if you're like a lower player, like anything can happen. Like seriously, like you can win against a Granite Master if you study that line very well and he falls into an opening trap. So and my goal personally is just to become as best as I can. And even if you reach your maximum rating, you still can learn without improving your rating. Yes, I repeat. In my opinion, you can be better at the game and your rating will not improve. So, I mean, your rating can be 2050 or 2500 and in 10 years, your rating is still 2500 and you can still be a better player. Because rating is not a reflection of your overall skills. Like let's say you become a grandmaster and you just specialize in the Rui Lopez, the English, and the Queen's Gambit. And you always play that. So you never played any other line. And then after you've reached your grandmaster norm, you experience all other kinds of opening. Now you're more universal player. You're better, but it won't reflect in your rating. Or you learn new end games, new positions, new this, new that, and you see new games. Of course, you're gonna progress, but doesn't mean your rating is gonna progress. You can progress without your rating progressing, in my opinion. Like it's like you can you can compare it maybe not to swimming, but maybe to what can you compare it with? Yeah, chess is very weird in that skiing. Like maybe you can compare it with like cooking. Cooking is a good example. Like let's say you have like 3 Michelin stars and that's your goal. You have 3 Michelin stars when you're 20 years old, and you still have 3 Michelin stars when you're 40 years old. And maybe the reviews were better when you're 20 years old. But in those 20 years you learned all kinds of techniques, all kinds of other cuisines, and you did all kinds of experience. Of course you're better at 40 and 30, but your rating, your stars are still the same. You know what I mean? That's my point. It's not like walking where you don't progress, because I'm not a better walker than I was a year ago, but I am a better chess player. It doesn't reflect in rating, but I learned more openings, I analyze more games, so I have to be better. And my calculation didn't drop because I'm not getting older. I'm still 25. My process is still good. So yes, some people, I'm not gonna name names because there's YouTube people that are obsessed with titles. And I watched this video and this guy was saying, oh, he's 300, so I must win. But chess, you have to be objective. You have to be objective at the board. It's very difficult. Like, and sometimes we a higher rated opponent blunders stuff and we don't take it because we think, oh, it's higher rated. So you have to trust your own calculations, be objective, and not just, oh, he has a bigger rating and I'm gonna lose. Or you always have to be objective. Like Magnus Carlsen, like I hate it when, like, oh my god, he has like this streak of 100 undefeated classical games, and this one game against Jordan van Forest, he just had to sack the exchange and he would have won the game basically. Like he was up so many pawns, but he didn't do it because they and I understand it. It was very risky, but I think he would have played the game against the FIDE master, he would play it more like courageous against the grandmaster instead of going for a draw, or he would more courageous against Jordan van Forest, more against a cabinet master or someone else, because when you have this, like when you look at rating and that, you know, you lose objectivity, and sometimes you have a winning game against the grandmaster. But it's not because that you're better overall, that you win the game against a grandmaster, that you are a grandmaster. You know, they can. In the end, everyone is human. The chances are -1%, but there's still -1%. Okay, that's impossible, but you know what I mean. So that's my 2 cents. I think instead of obsessing with ratings and titles, just go to your absolute maximum. Just improve your chess, improve everything until it stalls, and until you have a plateau, but your final plateau. Not like some certain plateaus are like like temporarily, but I mean like 5-year plateau. Like you cannot progress anything more. Like as hard as you try, but still love the game, still learn. You can still learn new things, or you can experience Chess 960 King of the Hill, and your rating won't increase, but your knowledge will increase. And you know, it's like cooking. Like I think I hit the nail with cooking. Like let's say you have 3 Michelin stars, you're a good chef, but you can always learn other recipes. It won't make your technique better, but it will make you better in general. Like you can always learn. It doesn't matter if your rating stagnates, or if you have a title, and you know, titles are titles. Yes, a grandmaster, he has earned that title. Of course, a grandmaster is in general is always better than a FIDE master, and FIDE master is better than a cabinet master, and that's true. But you know, it's just the point of the video is not getting lost in rating and titles, because I see a lot of chess players that get lost in rating and titles. They lose games, or they lose games because they underestimate the opponent, or they lose winning games because they think the opponent is much better because they are higher rated, instead of looking at the board, looking at their pieces. And that's my take on it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed my little rant. And hasta la vista. Till next time.